evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Nora Ray. I lived in Gretna with my husband, Alderman John Ray Sr., at 1119 Lafayette Street, in a small double house that's still there today. We had 3 girls, Nora, Geraldine, and Mary, and 2 boys, Stanley and John Ray Jr., who was born August 15, 1922. All of my older children went to Gretna Elementary and then Gretna High School, and my boys were athletes there. Stanley played basketball, and John played football. I was so proud of them. They both joined the military and fought in World War II. Stanley came home from the war, but not John. He's buried in Normandy, France. I'd like to introduce you to John now so he can tell you his story. John?
Thanks, Mom. Hello, my name is John Ray Jr. I quit high school to join the Army and was stationed at Camp Shelby, Mississippi as a hospital orderly. That was not for me. So I transferred to the military police. And I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. While there, the Army was recruiting men for a new elite outfit, paratrooper infantry. I asked, "What's a paratrooper?" They said, "You'll be jumping out of a perfectly good airplane." And that sounded pretty crazy to me, until they said, "Your pay would increase by $50 a month." Okay, I'm in. I got nearly perfect scores on my test, qualified on the rifle range, and after 5 successful jumps, I was able to tuck my pants in my boots, a sign that I was a paratrooper. When they notified me that my mother died giving birth to my baby sister Mary, they sent me home on leave. It was then, in 1941, that I met the girl next door, my future wife, Paula. She was 16 and still in school, but I was 18, 6'2", 210 pounds, and handsome. You know, women can't resist a guy in uniform. So on March the 7th of 1943, when I was 20 and Paula was 18, we were married. We only spent 1 week together as husband and wife before I had to return to duty. On March the 23rd, 1943, I had written a letter to Paula in which I had said that when I returned home from the war, I'm going to bring with me enough money to have all of the things that we dreamed of, at least. It says we'll get a good start someplace, and I hope it will be real soon. Well, I was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division, 505th Regiment, F Company. On May the 10th, 1943, we were shipped to Casablanca, North Africa, for extensive training. On July the 9th and 10th, we were moved to Sicily to support General Patton's landing. After that, General Eisenhower moved us to Northern Ireland to prepare for Operation Overlord, D-Day, Normandy. It was December 1943. It was there that I met Private Ken Russell, and we became friends. But the best thing that happened during that training was I ran into my brother Stanley. I hadn't seen him in 4 years. Well, tensions mounted until June the 5th when we got the word to go. Because of the poor weather conditions, Ike delayed the invasion. Early in the morning of June the 6th, we loaded aboard our C-47 transports and took off for France. The 82nd Airborne was tasked with capturing 2 bridges outside of the town of St. Mary Glace, which lay on a critical crossroad. At 1 a.m., as we approached the coastline, we encountered a heavy cloud bank and heavy anti-aircraft fire. Confusion reigned. Some of the pilots got lost and veered off course, while others gave the green light too early for the paratroopers to jump, for fear that the anti-aircraft fire would hit the planes and the planes would crash, killing everybody, including the paratroopers. Well, at the same time, a building in St. Mary Glace caught fire, alerting the citizens, who formed a bucket brigade. But the Germans occupied the city as well. They heard the planes flying overhead and saw the parachutes opening. It was a turkey shoot, as most of the paratroopers were killed before they landed, and others were shot as they landed. Ken Russell got caught on a cross on the roof of the church, and John Steele got caught on one of the spires of the same church. Both hung there helpless. I brushed the roof and landed on my feet in the street behind the church. At the same time, a German soldier came around the corner and started to take aim at Russell and Steele. Well, I struggled to get out of my parachute, and the German soldier saw me and fired several times into my stomach. I fell, mortally wounded, but I was still able to get my .45 pistol out, and as the German soldier took aim at Ken Russell, I fired and killed the German soldier. I had saved Russell and Steele. Eventually, Steele was able to free himself, and he came over to check on me. He thought I was dead, so he left me to escape. John Steele hung on the spire for several hours, playing dead, as was depicted in that movie, The Longest Day. Later, the Germans cut him down and took him prisoner, but eventually, he escaped also. Later, Russell and Steele had met up, and both agreed that whoever made it home from the war first would tell my family and my wife that I had saved their lives. Well, Steele saw my wife first, and for whatever reason did not tell her that I had saved them. It wasn't until 1998 when Paula found out what I had done. In the year 2000, accompanied by Ken Russell, Paula was able to make the trip to Normandy and stand on the ground where I had been shot, and to visit my gravesite in the American National Cemetery in Normandy. You know, bending over and, pressing her lips, she touched the cross that bore my name. And remembering all of the letters that I sent to her, she said, "You were supposed to come back to me, and now I've come to you." And as the sun came through the clouds, she cried. In the last letter that I wrote to her, I said, "Don't worry. I'm doing my job with the guys I trained with. We have a job to do, and well, we will finish it together." God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant John Ray is portrayed by Irvin Schwartz, who has been a part of the Hook and Ladder team of characters for 6 years now. And Miss Nora Ray, his mother, is portrayed by Cheryl Amaker, and this is her second year with Hook and Ladder.